Hi, this is Mark Waid, writer of Superman Birthright, and you're listening to Krypton Report.
Up in the sky, look!
It's a bird!
It's a plane!
The Krypton Report.
I am your host, Tyler, and welcome to Krypton Report, a podcast dedicated to all things Superman, Supergirl. We're going to look at the Supergirl TV series, as well as the Krypton TV series, anything that has to do with the characters in their world. Comics, movies, TV shows. We will talk about everything and anything. We are part of the Southgate Media Group podcasting network. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at Krypton Report. You can also email us at kryptonreportpod@gmail.com. If you get a chance to go over to iTunes, Apple Podcasts, please leave us a review to help us get better. You can find me personal at JTYPatrick on Twitter and everything else. You can buy a Krypton Report t-shirt at tpublic.com. Check it out. They have all sizes, colors, styles of shirts. Just go to tpublic.com and search Krypton Report, and you'll see our logo. And every time you buy a shirt, it helps support other podcasts from southgatemedia.com. Thank you. Enjoy the show. All right, everyone. Welcome to the Krypton Report with our special Justice League episode. Now, we kind of waited a little bit for our Justice League episode. Originally, Janine and I were going to record a immediate reaction when we saw the film, but what happened was during the film, Janine actually got sick. She had been kind of sick all day, poor girl, and she missed a huge chunk, so I didn't record anything. And then she got to see it later, and then I talked to our guest today, and we wanted to record it, but man, our schedules have been busy, and there's been so much information that's come out. And we, excuse me. So, without further ado, we're going to welcome back to the show Mr. James Cole. Welcome, James.
Thank you. Excited to talk about Justice League.
So, it's been
3 weeks waiting.
Yeah, it's been a while, but it's it let us really reflect on it, look back on it, and just get some perspective as a film. And Solo asked me, "Daddy, why are you going to podcast?" I said, "Talk about Justice League." He goes, "Okay." So.
Okay.
I'm like, all right, buddy. You know what? So we're going to go ahead and start. What was your first thoughts when you first walked out of the theater?
I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. The characters, the character interactions, and the character development. Being a jumping off point for Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman. It was very entertaining. Not what I thought it was going to be. Luckily for me, though, I kind of am able to drop most of my expectations at the door. Even if I've been waiting for this movie for years, when I walk in there, I'm just wanting to see what's up there. So, it entertained me. I had a good time. And I liked the movie. Saw it twice opening weekend.
I agree with you. Like, I enjoyed the movie. And this is something that's going to come up in our discussion. And people can argue about this, but I'm really going to say the runtime is what hurt it. And I say that because when you're given, hey, make this epic film, you're looking at the script. And you're scoping this film to be 2 hours and 30 minutes, 2 hours and 45 minutes. And then all of a sudden they chop a third of your film away. All that little development and like character moments gets cut back and cut back and cut back. So I really feel...
Oh, yeah, that's what they took out big time was a lot of the character stuff.
And I mean, we've heard the rumors. We've heard the discussions about, Cyborg's whole story was cut out about... We were supposed to see his mom. We were going to see Victor before the car accident. Or there was supposed to be a car accident that he was in. We were supposed to get more with Aquaman and Mira. Because here's something that I was thinking of. In the film, we have the scene where he says, "I'm going to need something from you." And then the next... excuse me. I'm getting over being sick. In the next scene that he shows up, he's got his trident and his armor. Great. Okay. But then we see him with his trident in BVS. So what was there's stuff going on with his story that, yeah, we're getting the Aquaman film, but it just, a lot of scenes made me feel that there was more to come. And that they cut little bits of that dialogue or that stuff. And the worst part is we've seen a lot of little things in the trailers that was cut out for.
Yeah, there was a lot of missing. There's a lot of things missing, and you could see a lot of the scenes that were that would have been, had more tacked onto the front or more tacked onto the end, but they just cut a lot short just to make that runtime.
So that's my biggest beef. I liked the movie. I enjoyed it. I had fun. It was like watching the Justice League cartoon. I liked everybody. I can tell that in reshoots they added some more of the Flash as humor, because if you pay attention to Ezra Miller's hair, it's a little shorter and it has more of that cut that he has in where he's filming Fantastic Beasts 2 right now. So and then of course we have the whole mustache CG with Henry Cavill.
Yes.
And what's really
mustache gate is pretty crazy.
What's really weird is there's so much about this film that we know that's public knowledge that it almost seems like every Superman scene was part of the reshoots.
Nearly. I'd definitely say, since he wasn't in very much of it, I'd definitely say 90% of what ended up on the screen for Superman was reshoots.
And it's just weird, the film lacked a chance for it to breathe. But I still, like I said, it pays attention. There's little things that don't make quite sense. Like, we have that great opening Batman scene. It's great up until he says Alfred in front of a complete stranger.
Right.
But then he goes to get.
He doesn't seem too worried about hiding his identity that much now that he's older. I thought it was always he's taking that to the grave.
And then the next scene, he's going to get Aquaman, and he has a beard. You know what I'm saying? Like, how did he grow that beard so fast? I know he's Batman, but some things that Batman can't do. Like, so that's an editing thing right there.
The place he's going to is pretty isolated. They say ships can't even get through, so he obviously had to take a good long trek across some terrain. I don't think he would have been out there for, probably a minimum of 3 weeks to get a full beard like that. But.
So, just little things like that. So we're going to talk about this. We'll be jumping around, as we go. There's scenes that I loved in this film. I loved, Diana breaking in and stopping the weird people who just wanted to blow stuff up. How cool was that?
Yeah, that was amazing. It really showed her speed, her strength. We all know she's strong, picking up tanks and everything. But being out there saving a whole bunch of people, and when the guy unloaded the automatic weapon, and she's just right there blocking them all, right with her bracers. And it made me it gave me that, what's the term? Childish joy, of watching these characters, do their scenes. Now, one thing, it kind of bummed me out was originally, the film, I guess, was supposed to open with more of the story of Steppenwolf. And I just felt like his story was really quick. I would have liked to have gotten to see more of Steppenwolf at the beginning and more of the apocalyptic mythology grow. Yeah, especially, if the plan is, Darkseid by the third one at the latest,
And there's rumors that Darkseid was supposed to make a cameo in Justice League, because he referenced wanting to meet the Kryptonian. I was reading about, and you know what? We're just gonna like not even go into all that because that's
what
but
been in the movie.
and
I mean, but to say what the movie could have been, if we got to see if the unfortunate the unfortunate events that happened with Zack Snyder and his family, if he would have gotten to be able to finish the film like he wanted, and put it out there, I'm sure the Zack Snyder cut would have had a lot more substance to it with all of the characters and building the world, building the universe, which that's what the movie is sadly lacking is substance, besides the few character motivations and a couple of developing plots between mainly the three new characters, and those were even cut short.
And the thing is, like, you could do this film.
Oh, that's all right. Zack Snyder, he doesn't take his time he doesn't rush to tell a story.
Exactly. Like, he had
he
it
takes
plotted.
his time. Yeah, he takes his time to develop every aspect of the story, and not intending what he did from Man of Steel to become what it is specifically now, but absolutely. I mean, he absolutely tells a great story, and it takes a long time, I mean, people sat through, Lord of the Rings for 3+ hours.
Yep.
And great story, amazing imagery. And the same thing could be said for every one of Zack Snyder's DC films. And for some reason, I don't know if it's just because it's Zack Snyder, because his movies are so polarizing, they couldn't let him see it through.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to talk about this without comparing it to the Avengers. Now, the Avengers did a different model where they built up through individual films to the team movie. That's great. That's fine. But you can do a team movie without needing that build-up. Like, if you would have given this movie the proper runtime of, say, 2 hours and 45 minutes, that would have, you already had the three established characters, and then you were working in Aquaman, Cyborg, and Flash. Think about the animated Justice League War. It's an hour and 10 minutes long, and basically the movie starts with Batman running into Green Lantern, hunting a parademon. And then everybody kind of shows up, and they form the team. So, I mean, you can do a team-building movie without having to do all the individual films first.
DC has definitely, introduced their characters in a unique way. Obviously, Superman coming to light, and then Batman, he's been around for 20 years. Wonder Woman, she's, 900 to 3,000. They kind of haven't specified, but
give or take,
figuring ancient Greek time, she's closer to 3,000.
And speaking,
and she was here in World War One.
Speaking of Wonder Woman,
I like the way that they have introduced.
Oh yeah,
the characters in. They didn't have to do the individual movie. They've kind of introduced the characters, and it calls for more movies down the road because you need to know who these people are.
I mean, we know for sure we're going to get Aquaman. We're getting Wonder Woman 2. Other than that, we're not sure what's going to happen, and we just say our prayers.
Well,
and cross
interesting bit of news, right? Yeah, actually, interesting bit of news I read today was an official release schedule for 2019, and Shazam is early April.
Cool.
2019.
I mean,
Wonder Woman 2 is November, so those two are still officially in the pipeline, and I have no doubt that they're going to continue going forward. We'll see how they mess with the movies down the line, but so far their plan is still moving forward.
I mean, honestly, I love Affleck as Batman. I feel like he crafted a character. People are giving him a hard time about if he's too funny or if he's too this. You know, at this moment, I feel like in some regards, he's too big of an actor to be this character. And I say that in the sense that when you get more of a movie star to be a character that has a lot of clout, and then if they don't want to do it or if they want to change things, they can. If you think about just looking at the cast of Justice League, Gal was only in a few films, and Wonder Woman's really what made her career. Momoa had done some films, had done some, epic TV work, and this is going to make him more of just a movie star. Ezra Miller had done films, but he was more of a, character actor.
Character indie film type stuff, mostly early on.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, blockbuster wise, he was in Fantastic Beasts, but he was such a small part, and in that you wouldn't think of him in this. Henry Cavill had done just a couple films leading. I remember going to see The Immortals, the Greek film that was produced by I think Snyder produced it, didn't he? I can't remember now if it was him that produced it or if it was someone else. But
I think it was just the people who, or at least some of the people who produced 300.
Yeah, and I saw that. It looked cool, but mainly I saw it because, this was a first film with the guy who's going to be Superman in it.
Mm-hmm.
Other than some small roles he had. And then Ray Fisher, this is his first film. So each one of them can make their mark with these characters. But with Affleck, he's already been Affleck. He doesn't need Batman. And I think that can play to a negative effect. But going back to what we were talking about, you can do this team-up film with not needing all the build-up. I think build-up helps, but it would have been neat to see just more of their dynamic that was cut. And we'll talk about this here, but, there's all these debates about is there a Snyder Cut? There isn't a Snyder Cut. Well, you know what there is? There is footage that was cut. And at some point in time, Zack Snyder presented some sort of a work print or a working cut to the studio to look at.
Mm-hmm.
So there is something.
I mean, of course, yeah, I would love a Zack Snyder cut. Not really in the cards. I do hope for an extended cut, shall I say?
And see, that's kind of where I'm leaning. I'm not on
extended scenes, some deleted stuff, and I mean, the one thing that could benefit from beyond, the character stuff in the present is the history scene, the history lesson. And they brushed through that so fast.
And I think that's where your story, because have you seen the behind the scenes picture of the three actors that played Zeus, Hades, and Artemis?
Oh yeah.
I'm like, they look like they could eat me for breakfast. And they're in it so quickly. Zeus only, you pick him out because you see the lightning. But even then you're like, is that Zeus? And I mean, that, to me, that was a big point of the film is people are like, well, why did Steppenwolf just now show up? Well, you gotta remember, he's in the fourth world. Time moves differently. So technically, when Diana destroyed Ares, that was the last of the old gods. And then, when Superman died, it was a perfect point for sadness and sorrow to enter the world, which is what I feel kind of that darkness is what drew him back. But all that's kind of light on the surface, we have to kind of dig to find that kind of substance in there. The thing with, we're jumping all over, but people said Steppenwolf was kind of just a surface villain, and I'm okay with that. Cause my idea was you get this villain that no one really cares about. Just the villain's just your plot device. The real story of the film is the team coming together. And the real villain is Darkseid. Steppenwolf's just there to serve a purpose. Give you someone to fight. I didn't want to know
someone of a big enough threat to have the team come together.
Right. I don't need all his backstory. We're not going to speculate on what was in the film originally or what wasn't, more than little things here and there. We're going to talk about what we got.
Easier.
So, I didn't need an in-depth Steppenwolf, because to me, you get a villain that does what it needs to do, kind of like Malekith in Thor 2. He could have been a really good villain, but he was very surface. And then, in Justice League, you would spend time with the League, building the League. The history lesson.
Yeah, what makes the movie and the team is the character interactions.
So that's my kind of take on Steppenwolf. Especially because, part of it was that once Superman showed up, Superman pretty much whipped Steppenwolf, which is the thing that would make Darkseid angrier, and Darkseid want to come himself to take on Superman.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense. So we got that, and I'm looking at my notes here, and they're all over the place, just where my brain was going.
Do you want to kind of start at the beginning?
We can
try and
excuse me,
fix them out, because we've been a little down, only because we know, we were expecting more. We know the unfortunate events, and we know what we got.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're talking around here.
But we did enjoy the film.
Yes, we did. It's just,
it was fun.
What hits me the hardest is with these DC films, especially with Justice League and BVS, there was so much behind the scenes stuff that was revealed to us ahead of time, and especially in the trailers where you see so much and then it's not there. It's what gets me. Now, before we move on, what do you think of the score?
Well, there were some moments I liked, some moments I didn't like. I felt the 89 Elfman Batman score. I felt at times that it wasn't really overplayed, so that was nice. It kind of did a light mix of what Hans Zimmer did for BVS, and then kind of worked in the 89 theme. And they melded well together. I think he should have used more Zimmer, like the Wonder Woman theme. It was there, but only barely.
I agree.
And it was her introduction. It was her introduction at where the terrorists were about to blow up the building, and it was there, but it wasn't even. I don't know if you call it the guitar riff that it is. It was basically done this. It sounded similar. It was the same note, I think, but it was more on strings than it was on the guitar riff that it sounds like that it came from. So he really brought that down to orchestration.
Yeah.
If that is even the right word there.
No, I got you. No.
But as he only used the little bit of the piano in the cornfields when Clark met his mom from Man of Steel.
Yep. See that.
And just the bit of the Krypton score in the ship before they resurrected him. But that was about it.
To me, that's what I feel.
Overall, wasn't extremely memorable.
I feel like I have the score. I think there's about 4 tracks on it that really kind of stick out when you're listening to it. It was serviceable. It didn't have the dynamic that I had hoped it would have. Even the main theme was good, but at the same time, I don't feel like it is as memorable. I wish, they would have done more with the Hans Zimmer Man of Steel theme. I feel like that's kind of that's the Superman theme for this Superman, and we didn't get that. I mean, there was somebody released where they had taken the end of Justice League, the last 2 minutes of it, and put it with the Hans Zimmer Superman theme, and it works so beautifully. It just has the feel that you want. And so,
It really is a hopeful feel. It does have a good rise. You know what I mean? That's one thing that the John Williams and Hans Zimmer for Superman.
Yes.
It starts low and it comes up and it really releases, and it does send you flying. Both of them do.
I mean, I recommend to anybody who's not seen it, get on YouTube, look up Superman 75 little animated short. It's directed by Zack Snyder. It combines the Hans Zimmer and the John Williams Superman theme beautifully. They transition into each other, and it's just beautiful. Little minute and a half cartoon to check out. So we've kind of said kind of our disappointment, but all in all, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I loved seeing these characters on the big screen. We talked about Wonder Woman's intro.
Birthdays and the holidays, and other stuff, cars and whatnot. I probably would have seen it at least once or twice more times in the theater, but I unfortunately have not been able to see it since my first two times. And I'm so sad.
Like there's things that, like, I don't want to speculate, like I said, on what we didn't see, what we could have seen, because we could do a whole episode on what we could have saw. But let's enjoy what we did see. We saw a Green Lantern that kind of in the flashback scene. That was awesome. Like, that was so unexpected.
I am very glad. Green Lanterns have been a very historic part of the DC universe for a very long time, and so it was exciting to see that there was this Green Lantern in this sector 5,000 years ago.
And, he died in battle, and a lot of people suspect that, the ring went on to Abin Sur. Maybe. Time's different for the
I feel a little early.
I do too.
Yeah, it could be a different time. It could definitely age, thousands of years. I mean,
and that's kind of how I feel.
It does seem like a big fan.
That's kind of how I feel about it. It was just nice to see a Green Lantern, because that's what we're missing from Justice League, and that's kind of, it's like the one thing I really want to see. Like, if they do the sequel, like, I really want to see Superman fight Darkseid. And I want him to say the line from the animated series. If you don't know what I'm referring to, go watch the last episode of Justice League Unlimited. The second to last episode, actually. Or the same. I can't remember. I watched them on Netflix in different order. It's when Darkseid invades and Superman fights him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we actually discussed that line in the first episode that I recorded.
We did, because it's the Superman line. I think it's the most BA thing he's ever said. I mean, gosh, we got the perfect Superman in this film. Like, he was in it for too little, but we got a bright blue suit. He was hopeful and happy. And, and I think a part of it is, and this is something I wish they would have addressed, is, the line that Flash said about needing friends. It just doesn't work just for Flash. They all need each other. They're all loners, And
very much so. Even Wonder Woman being hidden for the last 100 years.
Exactly. And having each other gives them a sense of friendship and belonging. That's why, and we're going to skip ahead, I love the first post-credit scene.
Mm-hmm. The classic scene stretches back many, many years in the comics and cartoons.
Of Superman versus
Flash versus, yes.
And I just love how he says, I've never been to the Pacific. Superman points in a different direction. He goes,
Yeah. Which is that way, yes. Now, being a Superman fan that we are, I'd hate to say this, but the Flash wins.
Oh, yeah.
Hands down.
Oh,
hands down, Flash is much faster than Superman, especially in a foot race.
I mean, Superman, I give him a run for the money flying, I think, to a point. But no, the Flash is faster. The Flash can tap
big
into
time.
Speed Force and time travel, and the Superman can't. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's just be honest here. All right?
So there's let's see, there's two examples I like. One in Smallville, first time Bart Allen shows up, where he's running backwards.
Yep.
Bart can't keep up with him.
And he just
then he
does,
turns around.
yep. He like salutes him and just takes off. That's all, man. I was going to reference that. You beat me.
And actually, in the I'm pretty sure it's in one of the Injustice issues where Flash is talking to Superman, and Superman tells him that, you know, we've done this before, and he's like, yeah, that was for charity.
Yes,
that was so, and he just is gone, and Superman has no chance to read that he's gone so fast.
I cannot remember if that was in Injustice or was it in Rebirth, or not Rebirth. No, it was Rebirth, Flash Rebirth by Jeff Johns. Might have been in that one. But yeah, that's the second time I was going to reference too. Where he basically says, I let you win those, Clark. You know, they were for charity. And so, I mean, I always love, it's Justice League. I want to say it's regular Justice League, but it might be unlimited. But it's just, excuse me. It's when the Flash runs so fast that, like, they do the scene where he punches Luthor when Luthor's possessed by Brainiac, to where he eventually just starts to deatomize, and they have to grab him and hold him and pull him back together.
Right.
So,
yeah, with the Flash extra dimensional powers, which I like the fact that Barry does, when he's describing it to Bruce, that he does bring up the fact that it is more of an extra dimensional ability, that it's beyond here.
yes.
And, you know, that power, makes him incredibly powerful, not just fast, but the things he can do with the speed and the Speed Force.
I mean, I love the part where he did, like, he drew the thing on the guy's face.
Yes, and then the old Jimmy Olsen actor.
Oh, Mark McClure. It was happy. I had to point it out to Jania. I was like, you know who that is? I was like, it's Mark McClure.
Yeah, but what I did like when he called Batman was a red phone.
Yes, I missed that the first time.
Screen.
I
saw the red phone the first time. I was like, that has to have some kind of meaning, the red phone. And then I went back and saw it again, and I was like, 66 Batman, the red phone.
And that's the
what it
stuff
is.
you incorporate. That's just small detail.
Oh, Zack Snyder plasters those Easter eggs in all of his movies. Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, they're littered with Easter eggs from the entire history of the characters.
And, you know, sometimes people pick up on them. Sometimes people don't. I really like the scene with Henry Allen and Barry Allen. I like the casting of Henry Allen. You know, Billy Crudup looks like he could be Ezra Miller's dad. And it's also another callback to a previous Snyder film with Watchmen.
Yes.
And with that note, here's two casting ideas, okay? Little sidestep. I think Jackie Earle Haley, who played Rorschach, should be Scarecrow. Like the very creepy Arkham Scarecrow. And I think that Matthew Good, who played Ozymandias, should be Eobard Thawne. Because that'd be pretty awesome.
That would work.
So,
that would work.
Because, I mean, think about it. We have, we have the comedian who played Thomas Wayne. And then we have Keelix. His voice was done by Carla Gugino, who is Silk Spectre 1.
Yes.
And then we have Night Owl, who was going to be Ocean
He was
Master.
the voice. Yes, and he was the voice of the president in DBS.
Exactly. And so he's going to be Ocean Master. So we need, we just need to bring on the rest of the Watchmen cast.
Yeah.
And we'll be.
I'm down for that.
So, and of course, okay. So, I was fine with the way they brought Superman back to life. It kind of makes sense. The mother boxes, being pure energy. We didn't get a lot of the history of the boxes.
I did like the way they were able to. Yeah, I did like the way they were able to incorporate saying that his body could withstand that burst of energy release.
And exactly, and it would make sense that he would wake up with his mind. Basically, it's like being electroshock therapy. Like he wakes up, his mind is everywhere. He doesn't it's scrambled.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was interesting that Diana, when he woke up, calls him Kal-El. And not Clark.
Yeah.
And then Barry gets the pet cemetery. and I love the scene where he takes off running behind him and Superman's just watching him.
Yeah, the best scene, one of the best scenes in the movie was definitely Superman versus the League. The three of them going to attack him and he's just standing there holding off all three. And then, how many times have we seen that meme now? It's like at this moment, Barry knew he messed up.
Yep. And, it was great. And that was enough of quote unquote bad Superman is all I needed. He had a moment where he didn't know what was going on. And
Hey Dad, why are you laughing?
Because I'm talking.
Because he's funny. That's why. He made it awesome.
Yeah, he's in bed. He heard me laughing. Had to come down and ask.
Hey, that's all good.
Oh, yeah.
But that was a great scene. And then Batman showed up and he's and Clark pulled the "Do you bleed" line. Because that even though him and Batman kind of made up. But
it was a nice turnaround, a nice callback. I didn't have too much problem with the quip. Something's definitely bleeding. I didn't feel that this Batman, he did have some quips, but most of it was of a sarcastic, know-it-all tone with his quips, kind of like the Justice League animated series.
Yeah.
So it didn't seem like it's too out of place. Some people were like, "Oh, Batman shouldn't joke." Well, he wasn't trying to crack jokes. You know what I mean? Yes, it was for the audience, and people laughed at it, but it was most of his comedic stuff. Like I said, was different. It wasn't just forced humor. It was that sarcastic humor that he's been known to have in the past.
And once again, he's a human with all these other superpowered people. And he's, trying to...
Everybody up by their face in midair and then just tossed aside. I don't care how much and how many years you've been beaten to a pulp. That's going to hurt.
And I like the fact that this is older Batman and then young Flash. They're not on the same age plane. They're different,
Right. The short performance he had with him in the tunnels was, was pretty good. It definitely showed that he's been there before. Just do it. Just do this and you'll know.
Now, did you catch, Commissioner Gordon when we see him and he's talking to another detective? That the detective he talks to is Crispus Allen, who would later on to go be one of the Spectres. Did you catch that?
Oh, no, I did not.
Yeah, I caught that, and I thought that was neat. Just another Easter egg padded in there. If it pays off, awesome. If it doesn't, still awesome,
Right.
I really enjoyed Commissioner Gordon for, the little bit he was in there. J.K. Simmons is a great actor.
He looked he is. He looked the part. I mean, almost like no other. I mean, how many of these characters is just like pulled off the screen in these Snyder films, you know, or pulled off the page in these Snyder films and slapped on screen?
I like that we get the Star Labs reference, you know, and can we just take a moment to think of how brilliant the casting was of Cyborg's dad?
Joe Morton, that guy will not stop until he creates the robot apocalypse.
Exactly. Not only is he from Smallville, okay, he was also Miles Dyson in Terminator 2.
Played the first Hamilton in Smallville.
Exactly, the Hamilton that wasn't Hamilton.
Miles Dyson, Terminator 2. There was another thing I heard somebody was talking about Joe Mortensen in a couple of different sci-fi shows, maybe Eureka and something
Eureka
else.
Was one.
That he was doing some type of like robotics experimentation in that show as well.
So I just, you know, that's inspired casting, I think, you know. I think the casting across the board was great. And Justice League for everything. You know.
Yes, even Ciarán Hinds, his delivery as Steppenwolf, you know, even he didn't have a whole lot, but, you know, his why do people keep telling me that? Everybody says he has a family, they have families. Like, I don't care you have families. I'm going to kill you all anyways. Tell me what I want to know.
I really liked that he was cast as Steppenwolf. I wish we could have got maybe more of him. Like, he could actually been the character. But that's hearsay. Here, what did you think of the second poster?
Well, you know, his CGI. I'll jump right back to that. His CGI wasn't necessarily that bad. You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't as bad.
He was a giant character. You could see it. It wasn't as bad as people are making it out to be. But you know, he's an alien, so his flesh could be completely, if you even want to call it flesh.
Yeah.
Could be completely something different, and it shouldn't look or move like skin should. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So the second post-credit scene, it definitely, you know, that scene stands out, with the camera angles and the lead up, you know, Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor, I think was spot on.
It was very Hackman reminiscent.
But he certainly didn't have the as much of the eccentricities that he had before. I think he's kind of moved on a little bit, grown since he was knocked down a peg before. So now he has to grow. You know, the character. DC's villains are spectacular, majority of them. So, you know, having the villains not just be throwaway characters and developing them and having them grow, especially through each loss, as it were, to definitely make them become more formidable villains, because they can have excellent screen presence. And Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke, he looked the part when he took off the mask and he had silver hair and beard, and that suit puts no shade on Arrow and Deathstroke there, because Manu is awesome, and you know they've done a great job with that character. But this movie suit puts that suit to shame.
You know, honestly, I've never really liked the second Deathstroke suit on Arrow, when he was actually Deathstroke. I liked the first one, like the island version. Like the mask just looked creepier to me, where it was like black with the orange.
Mm-hmm.
And like more of a solid
and the
black suit.
A little more technical, not like overdone.
So I never liked really the Deathstroke suit he got later. And that's why like I am a fan of the Manganiello suit, is it looks more like a laid out suit and not just like a jumpsuit with a bunch of stuff put on it. But once again, no offense to him. I love Manu Bennett as Deathstroke. I'm glad that Manganiello still got a part as Deathstroke because we knew he was cast, and there had been so much up and down about where he would appear, if he would appear, all kinds of stuff. So I'm glad we got
I'm happy his teeth of Legion of Doom was not any, didn't boil down to being nothing.
Exactly. So I really enjoyed that. I would like to see a Legion of Doom film. I kind of like, if we do get a Justice League 2, I think it'd be kind of neat if they went ahead and did. I was thinking about this, and we'll talk about this more on a different episode, but don't hold Darkseid to like a third film. If they did something where Darkseid made a connection with Lex Luthor through Steppenwolf, because you know how he talks about the darkness is coming, he heard the bells, and all that stuff, like, and you could have like Darkseid.
Yeah.
And kind of like, how in Young Justice, how the light was being controlled by Vandal Savage, and then we found out at the end of the second season, that the light with the reach and everything was actually orchestrated by Darkseid.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that, where the Legion of Doom have been put together and orchestrated by Darkseid, and then he shows up at the end of Justice League 2.
Mm-hmm.
That way, you're not trying to hold off the villain for the third film, the villain that everybody really wants to see. It could be really cool because if you do the Legion of Doom, you can almost keep Darkseid a secret in the film.
Yeah. Kind of makes you think back to the communion scene from BDS. Was that scene was it the ship telling him something? Like that he wouldn't, like why would the ship just at some point automatically just, like, are you back ready to start your next lesson, after Doomsday breaks out? Or was it actually a communication sequence?
See, I feel that when Luthor was messing with stuff, it tapped into Darkseid, like the Apocalypse, and it was more than that, because they talked about Luthor had all these notes about the mother boxes, which quite doesn't make sense when technically he had we don't know how many times he was communicating with Steppenwolf too.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have the one scene, and that's where he gets arrested. So that could have been like his last scene of him like reporting on what was going on, like the Kryptonians dead or whatever. So we don't know what all happened while he was down there with the ship. Like there's more that could have happened. So I like to think it was more than just a history lesson that he received.
Yeah, me too. I think it would only be the.
Teacher told me if I like those black, those tasty ones are the fries. And I told the one teacher they taste good.
Okay.
Then do it. All right then.
Okay. All right, buddy. It's past your bedtime. Go to sleep. All right. Yes. Take your flash and go upstairs.
Yeah.
He just got a handful of little toys. Flash and Superman.
Is it the Imaginext little figures?
It was a metal, like a little metal die-cast figures. Papa got him for his birthday.
Nice.
And, it's got Superman, Batman, Flash, Wonder Woman. It's got the Element Man, Mr. Freeze, Killer Croc. Got a few other people. So
that's really
it's a nice little set.
That's really cool. Yeah, that's how it is.
Yes.
The thing is, we both really enjoyed Justice League. I wish people would just go see it and, not rely on, Rotten Tomatoes and all that, because to me, Rotten Tomatoes, it's just a matter, of opinion because I could go in here and pull out
and
of things that
yeah,
Rotten Tomatoes have said is great, and I can just show you like, yeah, Rotten Tomatoes says it's great, but I can't stand it or I won't watch it. Like, you know, and I like films, like I like all kinds of movies and different things, and I still watch it to be either entertained or educated or really be emotionally moved. Janine and I watched one the other night, and I won't say what it was, but it was highly regarded on Rotten Tomatoes. And when it was over, we sat there and talked about the lack of character, the lack of development, and just genuinely how boring it was. It looked beautiful, but it was just a boring movie. And yet, it's highly regarded on Rotten Tomatoes, you know? And the one that I point out is Rotten Tomatoes, you know, has the most recent Ghostbusters movies on a high thing. And honestly, that movie was a mess. And I watched it.
I don't know when people I mean it's rampant these days, but I don't know when people can't formulate an opinion by themselves that they let a movie critic or an aggregate website, you know, tell them to go see a movie or not. Like, when did that become a thing? Like, seeing trailers before movies and on the internet, you know, YouTube, Facebook, and TV spots on TV. When did those not become enough to get somebody interested in going to see a movie or not?
Yeah, exactly. I can't stand that. Like, well, what's the run? I'm like, why are you paying attention to? Like, I really get annoyed that now we get the movie reviews and stuff dropped from the critics like days before the movie comes out. And I mean, I remember Friday mornings getting the newspaper and reading the reviews of a movie, or just waiting to go see it, then reading the review. So I don't know. I just get really tired of like that's what people talk about, and the scores, because we could debate movies all day about what Rotten Tomatoes says and what you think of the film itself.
Yeah, you know, everybody see the movie. See the movie for yourself. It's very enjoyable. All the characters are fun. You know, Flash has some hilarious moments. His first time in the cave, zipping around, seeing everything. It's a Batcave. Is sitting in the Batmobile, just starstruck, and jaw wide open,
and I love that.
I liked it. The one thing, Flash to me was kind of, the biggest standout characters of the movie to me were Flash and Cyborg. I thought the Flash was very interesting, like, just go right to his headquarters, you know, to make it short. In his headquarters, I mean, it is packed full of books and TV screens and computer screens. You know, and his conversation with Bruce about time being different, and like, for him, a day is forever. So just to take in books and so much TV, just take in so much information, because his mind processes everything so quickly. You know, and then Cyborg's evolution. You know, the things he spoke about being able to do, and then being able to do, like flying, his computer system making him aware of when, Bruce Wayne and Alfred are looking into him. And then he doesn't even notice, but he's actually able to create that projection from his hands and see what they're looking into about him.
Yep.
And him communicating with Diana on the computer, shutting it down and just putting up the words, talking to her.
I feel like I feel like Aquaman, everyone thought he was going to be a huge breakout, and I think he was, but I think they pulled him back some in editing because we know we're getting his movie.
Yeah.
Like
his movie's next.
Yeah, so like they gave you a taste to be intrigued and like him, so you want to see more. But with Cyborg and the Flash, they're like, this is their time because we don't really know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and the scene at the end, just before Superman takes off, rips open the shirt, which is the first time Cavill has done that. Open the shirt to reveal the chest shield. The scene where his body evolved and transformed into a more comic accurate version. He doesn't look alien and transformer-ish anymore.
You know what? I don't have a problem with that look. I felt like just going back to
especially
Justice League,
the way they discussed his evolution.
Yeah,
that his body and his systems keep evolving.
You go back to Justice League War, which I highly recommend anyone watch it. It's on Netflix. I think it's still on Netflix. It's on the CWC.
Sure it's CWC.
I know for sure it's on the CWC, which is a free app. It's a great little Justice League film, and in it, Cyborg goes through like 3 different transformations of his suit, and that's kind of how I felt like it's adapting to him, like you were just saying. So I really enjoyed Cyborg. I liked him when he was in the hoodie. I thought that was kind of cool look and a way of getting around having to show the CG. So, well, we're going to wrap it up here just because I'm getting over this cold and I need to take some cough drops and stuff. But I know I'll have James back on and we'll talk more about Justice League because there's always more to say. And I figure when the film comes out, we'll sit down and do a commentary track for it. Would be fun to do. So we can actually talk a little bit more in depth as we watch it, And I haven't done one of those yet, like a commentary track with somebody. Janina and I has done it kind of over an episode, but never something we've seen before. So I think it'd be fun to do. So any final thoughts or anything you want to say, James?
I definitely give Justice League a B+.
I do too.
It was a very good time. I saw it over and over again. I plan on seeing it more and more. Like I said, I hope they do come out with an extended edition. We all know that there's plenty more that they could just extend some stuff, give some more character stuff and some more substance to the film, without going too overboard. And, go see the movie yourselves. I'm sure if you're listening to this, you probably have, but, encourage others to go see it, to at least enjoy themselves for 2 hours.
And I agree. I give the movie as well like a B+. So I left happy. I enjoyed it. I got, what I wanted out of it. I just wanted more. So.
I took my 7 and 8-year-old to see it 2 days after me and my wife went. They both enjoyed it as well.
And I think I really can't wait for it to come out on video because I think Solo will watch it because, I know he wants to see it because, he'll watch the trailers over and over. I'm almost tempted to take him to the theater and see it. We'll see. I might do that. We'll see. So, all right.
Just get an early show. Make sure he's well rested. Because 2 hours is going to still pushes it for little kids.
That's why I'm tempted because he sat through an 1.5-hour movie at the theater and was fine, and he loves Superman and Batman and Flash and everything, and he so I might do that. You got the wheels cranking, James. All right, man. Well, you have a good one. Thank you for being on the show again. We look forward to talking to you again later.
Yes, thank you for having me.
There's a thin line between heroism and madness.
Here the line fades to nothing at all.
This is a world of capes and lunatics.
And nothing is off limits.
So be sure to check out Capes and Lunatics for all your nerdy needs and randomness. as well as many other awesome shows on the Southgate Media Network. If you have an interest, I bet we have a show. And you can find me on Capes and Lunatics. So, until then, keep listening. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Krypton Report. You can also email us at kryptonreportpod@gmail.com. If you get a chance to go over to iTunes, please leave us a review to help us get better. If you're an Amazon shopper, just remember you can go to southgatemediagroup.com. There's a portal, log into Amazon, and you'll shop into your account just regular, but it also helps keep all the podcasts on and helps keep Southgate running. Remember, look up in the sky.